It is June 7th, 2026, and the skies over northern Israel are glowing. Iran has just launched a direct, multi-wave ballistic missile attack targeting Israeli territory. The impact on the ground is immediate. The Home Front Command has ordered residents across the region into protected underground spaces. Schools are completely shut down, and daily life has halted, while aerial defense systems like the Arrow and Iron Dome work to intercept the incoming threats. The catalyst for this barrage happened just hours earlier. The Israel Defense Forces targeted a multi-story apartment building deep in the Dahieh district of Beirut, Lebanon's capital. They struck exactly where senior Hezbollah commanders were actively meeting. For decades, the conflict between Jerusalem and Tehran operated at a careful distance. Tehran supplied weapons, training, and funding to proxy militias across the region to do the fighting on their behalf, while keeping their own military forces out of the direct line of fire. State-on-state combat was strictly avoided. By launching rockets from their own soil, Tehran is stepping entirely out of the shadows. They are using this direct attack to force a highly calculated, rigid rule onto the region. To understand how we got here, looking at this map reveals Israel's core military doctrine for the current conflict, separating the arenas. The goal is to aggressively fight Hezbollah in the north without dragging Iran into a broader regional war. On the ground, the IDF is currently operating deep inside southern Lebanon. They are clearing territory along the Litani Bend and securing the elevated terrain of the Beaufort Ridge. Beneath these historic vantage points, ground forces are uncovering massive subterranean tunnel networks. Built with Iranian funding and planning, these multi-level bunkers allow fighters to store advanced weapons, coordinate ambushes, and survive heavy aerial bombardments. Israel's objective here is strictly local. They want to dismantle the terror infrastructure directly threatening their border communities, allowing displaced Israeli residents to finally return home safely. This entire military strategy relies on geographic isolation. If the fighting stays tightly contained within Lebanon's physical borders, Israel maintains the tactical advantage. Iran operates on the exact opposite logic. Their doctrine is connecting the arenas, an active military and diplomatic effort to merge isolated local proxy fights into one single front. Hezbollah serves as Iran's most heavily armed insurance policy. If Israel degrades that force, Tehran loses its primary geopolitical leverage. To protect that asset, Iran is enforcing its new equation. Any Israeli strike on Beirut automatically triggers a direct ballistic missile launch from Tehran into Israel. Looking at the wider map, this connection strategy is rapidly expanding outward, pulling international shipping lanes and American troops directly into the crossfire. Over the weekend, the United States military destroyed several Iranian coastal surveillance radars. Iran's Revolutionary Guards immediately retaliated by firing ballistic missiles toward American military bases stationed in Kuwait and Bahrain. They are backing up these kinetic strikes with a severe economic ultimatum. Iranian officials warned they could completely close the Strait of Hormuz, the critical global choke point for the passage of oil and gas. By threatening to freeze global energy markets and placing American personnel at risk, Tehran aims to build unbearable pressure. They are weaponizing global trade to force Washington and the international community to physically restrain Israel's military. This coordinated, multi-front pressure comes at a time when Israel's resources are heavily stretched. While citizens in the north run to bomb shelters, security forces in central Israel are actively responding to deadly domestic shooting attacks in civilian areas. At the same time, diplomatic channels are completely paralyzed. Indirect negotiations between Washington and Tehran are deadlocked. Senior Iranian leaders are hiding in subterranean bunkers, refusing to advance peace agreements while demanding billions of dollars in upfront cash. The fallout reaches completely outside the military sphere. The United States is denying entry visas to Iranian officials linked to the Revolutionary Guards who are attempting to travel with their national team for the World Cup. National security, high-level diplomacy, global energy, and international sports are all being weaponized in the exact same borderless conflict. All of these converging pressures leave Israel's defense establishment staring down an extremely difficult decision following the latest missile barrage from Tehran. If Israel answers with overwhelming force directly against Iranian soil, they risk sparking the exact full-scale regional war they carefully worked to prevent. But if the Israeli government decides to absorb the strike, relying strictly on defensive interceptions to avoid escalation, they validate Tehran's aggressive strategy. Accepting that outcome gives Iran a permanent, direct veto over Israel's ability to defend itself. It allows Hezbollah to rebuild its border forces, while Israel hesitates, fearing another wave of direct ballistic fire. The long-standing rules of proxy warfare are dead. Localized border skirmishes have been replaced by a single, highly reactive environment where every target is linked, and the entire Middle East waits for the next miscalculation.